When we talk about the idea of India, we have many neighboring states which continue to be a part of the subcontinent but have their own sovereignty and their constitution. Many are Islamic republics in nature, some are secular republics, and some have a different form of government. But what India did lose is some territories, because historically the Indian subcontinent was governed largely by princely states, by kingdoms, by several invading forces and colonial parties. But later, when India attained independence from the British ensured to make strategic blunders so that India could be kept under control. And what was the result? For more than 70 years now, we have been fighting with our neighbors over land issues. In this series, we will explain 3 such strategic blunders that the British actually made, which is costing India a lot. And these lost territories has resulted in a big disadvantage for India. India's disputes with China aren't just about land borders. The battle extends to the Indian Ocean. Recently, satellite images showed renewed Chinese construction in Myanmar's Great Coco Islands, just 55 kilometers north of India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This is a major concern. But did you know that these islands were once within India's grasp? Historically, the Cocos Islands were a part of the British India. In 1882, they were transferred to British Burma due to their remote location. When Burma separated from India in 1937, the islands went with. Japan occupied these islands during World War II, but after independence in 1948, Burma retained them. However, as the British were preparing to leave India, they considered holding on to key strategic locations like Katchatheevu, Andaman and Nicobar and Cocos Islands. What was their plan? The plan was to keep India fragmented and under their control. India secured Andaman and Nicobar Islands, but Cocos Islands on the other hand actually slipped away. By 1994, China allegedly leased these islands from Myanmar. Both nations actually deny it, but satellite images suggest otherwise. China has since then built an airstrip, radar stations and naval facilities there. Cocos Islands actually sit near the Malacca Strait, a choke point where 40% of the global trade passes. With China's aggressive naval expansion, these islands actually give Beijing a strategic edge in the Indian Ocean region, a part of the string of pearl strategy to encircle India. Former Defense Minister George Fernandez once claimed that Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru actually donated these islands to Burma in the 1950s. If India had acted decisively, Cocos Islands could have been secured just the way Lakshadweep was. Now, China controls a vital outpost right next to India's maritime borders. Another pearl added to the string, one India could have actually stopped. Everyone remembers the 1965 India-Pakistan War, how India successfully defended itself. But what is often missed is the opportunity India had to take back parts of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, or at least use its strategic advantage. What was that advantage? That was Haji Pir Pass. This pass was very crucial. It connected Srinagar to Jammu via Uri, Poonch, Rajouri sector, serving as a key trade and transit route. Today, because it's in POK, it is unusable. It has become a major infiltration route for Pakistan-backed militants into Kashmir, Poonch and Rajouri. In 1965, Pakistan launched Operation Gibraltar to incite an uprising in Kashmir, hoping Indian Muslims would bear arms against the state. But surprise, surprise, Kashmiris were like, bro, that's not really happening. India pushed back. We captured Haji Pir. But Pakistan retaliated with Operation Grand Slam, nearly taking the Akhnur Bridge, which would have cut off Kashmir from the rest of India. To counter this, India opened another front, advancing towards Lahore. This drove the Pakistanis crazy. But here's the crucial part. After the war, under the Tashkent Agreement, India returned Haji Pir. A strategic blunder was it? Many believe so. Had it remained with India, infiltration could have been blocked. The 1965 war was a major victory for an already demoralized Indian army, which was still recovering from the humiliating loss hands of the Chinese in 1962. But we pulled this off, despite the Pakistanis actually possessing superior tanks and artillery. But one thing was lost, a strategic advantage India may not get for time to come. When we talk about India countering China's influence in the Indian Ocean region, Chabahar port in Iran is often brought up. But what if we told you that India could have controlled Gwadar, the very port that now serves as a cornerstone of China's Belt and Road Initiative and a key strategic asset for Pakistan? Let's rewind. The British knew Gwadar's potential way back in 1882. Sir Charles Metcalfe, a senior British official, identified it as the perfect spot for a modern port. But the plan never really took off. Lack of funds, lack of market feasibility, and as usual, lack of vision. And so a strategic opportunity slipped away decades before India even became independent. Fast forward to 1958 and the world was changing. Both India and Pakistan had their eyes on Gwadar. Reports suggest India was even willing to pay 10 times what Pakistan paid. But Pakistan played its cards right. Instead of negotiating directly with Muscat, it reached out to the Britain. Why? Because the British had an ironclad 1891 treaty with Oman that prevented the Sultan from selling the land to anyone except Britain. Pakistan leveraged this colonial era agreement and convinced the British to actually intervene in this dispute. What was the result? Gwadar was handed over to Pakistan on September 8, 1958 for just £3 million. That's about $10 million today. If India had controlled this strategic port, the entire power dynamic in South Asia could have been very different. Instead, today, Gwadar is a critical node in China's Belt and Road Initiative, giving Beijing a direct route to the Arabian Sea and strengthening Pakistan-China military cooperation. India hesitated, Pakistan played smart, China benefited. And now the question is, will we let history repeat itself with other lost territories?